They can launch.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, soldiers, and family members of the 338th MI Battalion. On behalf of the commander of the 338th MI Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Clay Baldwin, welcome to the 338th Change of Command Ceremony. Today, we will recognize the change of command from Lieutenant Colonel Baldwin to Lieutenant Colonel Benes. I am Staff Sergeant Wendt, your host for today's ceremony. Please note the colors displayed before you. Present are the American flag, the United States Army flag, and the 338th MI Battalion colors. These colors represent all the service members and citizens, past, present, and future, whom the 338th MI Battalion serves and supports. The mission of the 338th MI Battalion is to conduct combined interrogations and debriefings to provide timely and actionable intelligence to the warfighter in support of the combatant commander's operations. The 338th MI Battalion was originally constituted 14 May 1948 in the Organized Reserve Corps as the 338th Intelligence Detachment. The detachment activated on 2 June 1948 in New York, New York. The unit was reorganized and redesignated on 6 July 1950 as Headquarters 338th Military Intelligence Company. Ordered into active military service on 11 September 1950 at New York, New York, the unit was reorganized and redesignated on 7 December 1950 as the 338th Military Intelligence Service Company. In November 1951, it was redesignated the 338th Military Intelligence Service Battalion. On 14 December 1953, it was reorganized as a 338th Military Intelligence Battalion. The 338th Military Intelligence Battalion was released from active military service on 7 March 1955 and reverted to reserve status. Inactivated 8 March 1955, it was redesignated 16 September 1988 as Headquarters, and Service Company, 338th MI Battalion, and activated at Fort George G. Meade, Maryland, where it was also again inactivated on 15 September 1997. The 338th Military Intelligence Battalion was reactivated on 16 October 2007 at Camp Bullis in San Antonio, Texas, to fulfill a congressional mandate to serve as the United States Army Reserve's first Joint Interrogation and Debriefing Center and Interrogations Battalion. It was designed to provide actionable intelligence to the warfighter through interrogations and counterintelligence collection operations. We are honored today to have our senior reviewing officer for today's ceremony, the commander of the Interrogation Brigade, Colonel William Putnam. The national anthem for today's ceremony will be played on this laptop. As a reminder, since today's ceremony is being conducted indoors, audience members who are military personnel in uniform will stand in the position of attention during the playing of the national anthem, and civilian personnel will place their right hand over their heart. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the singing of our national anthem and the invocation. The invocation will be given by Chaplain Goodwin.
I invite you to pray in your faith tradition as I pray in mine. Please bow your heads. Lord, I thank you for this morning. I thank you for this opportunity to celebrate the change of command for the 338. I thank you for the special guests and the family that are with us physically and those digitally joining us as well. Today, I ask for your presence as we just celebrate all that has happened and all that will continue to happen through the 338. I pray for everyone's safety as they travel and they go, and that this be a memorable moment in each of their careers. And Lord, finally, I pray that no soldiers will fall out in this space this morning. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Goodwin. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Colonel Phil Putnam was commissioned at Tulane University in 1996 as a military intelligence officer. He has served military tours in the United Kingdom, Kosovo, Afghanistan, Arizona, Texas, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and North Carolina. He also participated in Operation Stabilization Force in Bosnia and Operation Iraqi Freedom as a government contractor in support of the U.S. Army. He has served in a variety of leadership and staff positions in military intelligence assignments at the tactical, operational, and strategic levels, including Analyst and Deputy Team Chief, Balkans Intelligence Support Element, Jack Molesworth, UK, Senior Intelligence Analyst at the Afghanistan-Pakistan Task Force at the Defense Intelligence Agency, Director of the Military Intelligence Readiness Command's Career Management Office for TPUs, Executive Officer for the 338th MI Battalion, Executive Officer for the Theater Intelligence Group, Combined Joint Task Force 435 in Afghanistan, the G2 at the U.S. Army Civil Affairs and Psychological Operations Command, the Deputy Commander of the 470th MI Brigade, Battalion Commander of the 321st Expeditionary Military Intelligence Battalion, Special Assistant to the Director of the Army Staff, and the Military Intelligence Readiness Command, G3. His current position is the Commander of the United States Army Reserve Interrogation Group. Colonel Putnam's military education includes the Military Intelligence Officer Basic Course, Military Intelligence Captain's Career Course, the Joint Intelligence Combat Training Course, the Special Operations Force Joint Interagency Collaboration Course, the Joint Interrogation Management Course, Intermediate Level Education Common Core, and Intermediate Level Education Advanced Operations Course, Reserve National Security Course, the Syracuse University National Security Management Course, and Senior Service College at Harvard. His awards include the Bronze Star, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Oak Leaf Clusters, the Meritorious Service Medal, 6 Oak Leaf Clusters, the Joint Commendation Medal, 2 Oak Leaf Clusters, the Army Commendation Medal, the Army Achievement Medal, the Afghanistan Campaign Medal, the NATO Medal for Afghanistan, the Joint Meritorious Unit Award, and the Meritorious Unit Commendation. He holds a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from Tulane University and a Master of Science in International Relations from the London School of Economics. Lieutenant Colonel Clay B. Baldwin is originally from McGee, Mississippi, the son of Kenneth and Becky Baldwin. He commissioned in 1995 after attending Officer Candidate School. Lieutenant Colonel Baldwin is a graduate of the Military Intelligence Officer Basic and Captain's Career Courses, the Signals Intelligence Electronic Warfare Officers Course, Combined Armed Services Staff School, ILE Common Core, and the CGSOC Credentialing Inter-Services Intergovernment Course, providing certification in the 35-box AOC. Lieutenant Colonel Baldwin has also been selected to attend the U.S. Army War College. Lieutenant Colonel Baldwin's assignments include Platoon Leader, 3rd Platoon Alpha Company, 321st MI Battalion, Commander, Echo Detachment, 201st MI Battalion, Battalions S2, 96th Civil Affairs Battalion, Operations Officer, Defense Intelligence Agency, G2X, U.S. Army Special Operations Command, SOJ2X Operations Officer, SOJ2 Deputy Chief of Operations, and Chief of SOJ2X for Special Operations Command, Pacific, and Senior Intelligence Officer, G35 and Chief of Human for First Capabilities Interrogation Group. Lieutenant Colonel Baldwin's operational deployments include one in Haiti as a Chief of the 4th Protection Operations Cell in 1999, and 2 in Afghanistan leading national level collection teams in 2003 and 2011. Lieutenant Colonel Baldwin has a Bachelor's of Science degree in Criminal Justice from the University of Southern Mississippi and a Juris Doctorate from Mississippi College School of Law. In his civilian practice, Lieutenant Colonel Baldwin is an Assistant United States Attorney, Criminal Division for the Southern District of Mississippi. He and his wife Amy have 5 children, Rebecca, Mallory, Sarah, Hayes, and Rylan, and they reside in Madison, Mississippi. Lieutenant Colonel Zara Tenay Benes is an Army Military Intelligence Officer with 20 years of service in the regular Army National Guard and Army Reserve. She spent 7 of those years in the Military Intelligence Readiness Command in various positions, including Operations Officer and later Analysis and Control Elements Chief at the 323rd Military Intelligence Battalion, Theater Support, and Operations Officer at the 310th Strategic Intelligence Group. She spent 8 years on active duty in various positions, including Joint Cyber Technical Planner at the Joint Force Headquarters, DoD Information Network, Cybersecurity Incident Response Planner at U.S. Cybercom Command, Intelligence Security Corporation. Later, Executive Officer at the U.S. Army Europe and Assistant Brigade Intelligence Officer at 1st Cavalry Division, with which she served 2 tours in Operation Iraqi Freedom. Lieutenant Colonel Benes' education includes being a distinguished military graduate at the Johns Hopkins University Reserve Officer Training Corps, where she also received a Bachelor of Arts in Biology and Pre-Med, being a Mason Scholar at the College of William and Mary Business School, where she also received an MBA in Entrepreneurship and Consulting, and completing the Army Command and General Staff College's Intermediate Level Education, Common Core. Other notable achievements include being fluent in Turkish and French, becoming a certified victim advocate for the Army's Sexual Harassment and Assault Response and Prevention Program, becoming a distinguished author for the Center of Army Lessons Learned, and acquiring a Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. Lieutenant Colonel Benes lives in Colorado with her wonderful husband, Brett James Benes, and their rambunctious daughter, both of whom are joining us online today. Sergeant Major Taylor is currently assigned at the 3rd Corps Army Reserve Affairs Sergeant Major at Fort Cavazos, Texas. Sergeant Major Taylor was selected to be the first NCO assigned to the Command Team Assistance Program, where he maintains his AGR position at 3rd Corps while simultaneously serving as Sergeant Major for 338 MI Battalion. Sergeant Major Taylor enlisted in Army in 1995 from his hometown of Tempe, Arizona. Sergeant Major Taylor has held numerous leadership and operational positions. Please refer to your program for details about Sergeant Major Taylor's assignments and decorations. He has been happily married to his wife Jessica for 18 years, and he has 2 children, Jack and Scarlett. On behalf of the 338th Military Intelligence Battalion, Mrs. Amy Baldwin is being presented with flowers by Captain Sanders. Her bouquet of red roses is in full bloom, symbolizing the sacrifice she has given to this command. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to your left. The 338th Military Intelligence Battalion, from your left to right, are Headquarters and Headquarters Detachment, commanded by First Lieutenant Zachary Bedore. The non-commissioned officer in charge is Sergeant First Class William Henderson. Alpha Company, commanded by Captain Adam Cruz. The non-commissioned officer in charge is First Sergeant Jomo Washington. Bravo Detachment, commanded by Captain Jacob Green. The non-commissioned officer in charge is Sergeant First Class David Plummer. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the official party will take their positions to conduct the passing of the unit colors. The colors represent not only the unit, but also the unity and loyalty of its soldiers. They are the commander's symbol of authority, representing their responsibilities to the organization and its soldiers. The guardian of the colors is the Command Sergeant Major. He is both the spokesman for the soldiers and is a principal advisor to the commander. The passing of the colors from the old to the new commander is significant in many ways. The transition is symbolic of the transfer of command to a new leader. At this time, the change of command will be initiated by the battalion command sergeant major, passing the colors to Lieutenant Colonel Baldwin. Sergeant Major Taylor passes the colors to the outgoing commander, Lieutenant Colonel Baldwin, for the last time. The outgoing commander, Lieutenant Colonel Baldwin, passes the colors to the interrogation brigade commander, Colonel Putnam, ending Lieutenant Colonel Baldwin's command and signifying the return of the responsibility of which he was entrusted upon assuming command. The interrogation brigade commander, Colonel Putnam, passes the colors to the incoming commander, Lieutenant Colonel Benes, signifying his confidence in the new commander's ability to command the battalion. Lieutenant Colonel Benes passes the colors back to Sergeant Major Taylor, whose responsibility it is to safeguard the colors. Attention to orders. In accordance with paragraph 2-3 alpha, Army Regulation 600-20, the undersigned assumes command of the 338th Military Intelligence Battalion, effective date 18 May 2023. Signed, Tenay Benes, Lieutenant Colonel, commanding. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to introduce the Interrogation Brigade Commander, Colonel William Putnam.
I don't need the microphone. You guys hear me okay? All right. It's a great day to be back in Black Bear Land. I had the honor of being the Battalion XO here from 2012 to 2014 when we deployed to Afghanistan to be the last interrogation battalion to conduct a deployed mission. Clay, thank you very much for all you've done. It really means a lot that you have busted your tail to take care of these soldiers here. You've given everything you have over the last 2 years. I just want to thank you first and foremost. To our distinguished guests, Colonel Salisbury, Sergeant Major Sampson, who have made the journey from 513th in Augusta, Georgia to be here just for today and are flying back, we appreciate you very much. You are an example of how Compo 1 and Compo 3 coordination and collaboration should be done. Colonel Miller, thank you very much. It's always good to have the Griffins here. To Colonel Ball, my old colleague, thank you very much for coming as well. And to all the other distinguished guests and visitors, thank you. And to all those who are watching, thank you for taking the time to be able to do that. Command is never easy. Command is hard. You care so much for the soldiers that are entrusted to you. Your job is to make sure that they are trained and ready. Because the question that must be asked is, are the soldiers trained and ready to fight and win, to come home alive safely to their families? Every leader, officer and NCO, it doesn't matter at what level, has a responsibility to make sure they're technically proficient, tactically aware, and that their soldiers know how to shoot, move, and communicate and do their mission. But you've done a great job of making sure that's happening. It's not easy. It's not easy doing it when you have 39 days a year to 365 days of requirements. So to each one of the soldiers in this formation and all those who are watching, I say thank you very much for all that you have done to keep moving forward to tonight. Congratulations. I would tell you that this is easy, but it won't be. But in our conversations, I know that you are up for the challenge. I have seen that your initiative and aggressiveness, you are ready to take this on and move out and take this unit to the next level. So Clay, thank you for laying the foundation. Tonight, thank you very much for building the walls that are going to come to help get these soldiers ready for if the call comes. And to all the soldiers that are listening, my charge to you, if today is the day, as one of my best friends, Colonel David Violent, always asks, if today is the day, are you ready? And if you're sitting there saying to yourself, I'm not sure, that's okay. All right? You don't have to have bravado and say, nope, we're ready. But I want you to ask this of yourself and your leaders. If you're not sure, what do you have to do to get there? And if you're a leader, you need to ask yourself, are your soldiers ready? What keeps me up at night is the fact that I have to ask myself, for the 1,000 soldiers in my charge, did I do everything I could to make sure they were ready? Will their spouses, their children, their loved ones one day say, Did you do enough? And I want to make sure that we did. So that's my charge to you. Have you done everything you could if today was the day? And if not, I ask you as you guys get ready to go up for your FTX, the Fort Cavalos, to ask yourself, what can we do to be the best we can as the Black Bear Battalion? I wish you all the best in your endeavor. I know that you're going to make this unit one that we can even be more proud of for each and every one of the soldiers here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colonel Putnam. Ladies and gentlemen, the outgoing commander of the 338th MI Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Clay Baldwin.
I'll use the microphone. Well, the first thing is I want to just say good morning to the Black Bears. Whoa! I'd like to welcome everyone here today. A special welcome to my family, my wife Amy, son Ryland, who are here today, as well as my mother, father, my other children, those family members and friends who will be watching over the internet. Appreciate the efforts of the PAO to come and record the event so that can be posted. Special welcome to Colonel Ball and Colonel Miller. Appreciate you all coming here locally. I want to especially welcome Colonel Salisbury and CSM Sampson from the 513th MI Brigade. Your presence here is significant, and it demonstrates the commitment of ACRC integration that's critical to our success in the multi-domain fight. So I truly appreciate you being here. Thank you. We've got past battalion commander of the 338th MI Battalion, Colonel Kingsbury here. Cool. Cool. Also, a great friend, Lieutenant Colonel John Cope, who came down, who's the commander of the 752nd CI unit within the brigade, came down. I really appreciate it, John. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the other friends and colleagues who've joined us, and certainly welcome to the Social 338th MI Battalion. You guys are looking awesome. So I'd like to thank Colonel Putnam for being here, sir. I've had the privilege of working with Colonel Putnam now for 2 years.
2 long years.
2 long years. Collectively with our sister battalions, the interrogation group, we've advanced our profession of intelligence, and we've done that under your leadership and you pushing us. It's been a privilege. Thank you. I'd also like to congratulate Lieutenant Colonel Tenay Benes, incoming commander, on your selection to battalion command. I've enjoyed getting to know you during our transition. I have no doubt that you are going to take the 338 to new levels and that they will thrive under your leadership. So welcome to you. Congratulations. Also a special welcome to Command Sergeant Major Bill Taylor. He is assuming the duties of Command Sergeant Major today, and it's kind of being an undertone to this, but it's a big deal too. I have only recently met Command Sergeant Major Taylor, but from our limited conversations, I know that he's excited to be here. He's excited to work with all of you in the battalion. At a town hall about a year ago, I believe it was a soldier from HHD that asked me a question about the length of leadership positions in the reserve, and whether there was any talk at the Army level about extending leadership positions given the intermittent nature of reserve service. And I said in response, no, and in my opinion, you wouldn't want it to be that way. You need change. Change is how we grow. You need changes in perspective, changes in priorities to take organizations to the next level. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius said, what can take place without change? Implying that change is fundamental to any improvement. Of course, most of us in the military are all a bit resistant to change. Renowned strategist B.H. Liddell Hart said, the only thing harder than getting a new idea into a military mind is to get an old one out. So in the Army, we simply change our leaders. We do so routinely, and in this way, we get our old ideas out, and we get new ideas that push us to reconsider, adjust, and to get better. Lieutenant Colonel Benes brings new ideas, new perspectives, and that is great for the 338 MI Battalion, and it is critical for its growth. At annual training last year, I asked you, if you'll recall, to do one thing for me, and I asked you to fail. Because if you're failing in your training, you're pushing the boundaries of your training. And you're improving one step at a time. Because we don't get better overnight. We get better by taking small steps. We improve incrementally as people and as organizations. But patient, productive change, it takes leadership. Our former CSM Simon, he was known for saying, every soldier can choose to be a leader. He's right. You don't need chevrons, rockers, bars, oak leaves, eagles, or even stars to be a leader. You simply need to be willing to inspire by example. To step up, to try to be a little bit better today than you were yesterday as a soldier, and as a person, commit yourself to the same tomorrow, despite repeated failure. Simple. Unfortunately, just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. Sometimes we need an example to follow. The Apostle Paul wrote a letter to a little church in a place called Corinth about 2,000 years ago. And in his letter, if you replace the word love with the word leader, I think you're left with a perfect example of true leadership. And I'd like to share that with you. A leader is patient and kind. A leader does not envy or boast. A leader is not arrogant or rude. A leader is not self-seeking. A leader is not easily angered. Keeps no record of mistakes. A leader does not delight in wrongs, but rejoices with truth. A leader always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. A leader never fails. Now, if you're anything like me, you hear that and you say, I've got a lot of work to do. I'm certainly not the perfect leader. And I venture to say none of us are. That should never stop us from doing all we can to try to be closer to that model tomorrow for the sake of our soldiers and those who depend on us. I want to thank every person in every small way who has encouraged me to be a better leader. I could not name them all, but many are in this hall today. Many are watching over the internet after this is over. I want to thank the officers, the NCOs, and soldiers of this battalion who have given so selflessly of their time, their energies over the last 2 years. Thank you for your service, and thank you for your sacrifice. Active leadership is engaged, it is involved, it is informed, motivating, outspoken, and inspiring. There is no doubt in my mind that the soldiers of this battalion will continue to actively lead. You will continue to improve and raise the standard of our profession. You will inspire one another. You will inspire the soldiers with whom you serve. As reservists, you will inspire the civilians that you work with. And you will inspire your communities. I know this because I have watched you do it. It has been my greatest honor being your commander. Continue to take the small steps to be better tomorrow than you are today. Continue to reach for the next level and continue to persevere. Do that, and I will see you all on the high ground. Until that day, keep pushing forward.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Baldwin. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 338th Military Intelligence Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Tenay Benes.
Sir, thank you so much for that motivating speech and for your leadership the last 2 years. I look forward to being at your change of command next month.
You got 3 weeks together. We're going to do great things.
Yeah, less than a month. And thank you so much, Clay, for your inspiring leadership. It is always a treasure to follow on after a leader who cares and who's done his homework and who's tried real hard to orient a unit, get them on azimuth, and then to just keep running with what has been started. Good morning to Colonel Salisbury, Colonel Ball, and Colonel Miller. Thank you so much for visiting, Command Sergeant Major Sampson, and also welcome to Command Sergeant Major Taylor. I'm so excited to work with you for the next 2 years. And good morning to the soldiers, families, and friends of the Black Bear Battalion. It is really cool to be up here right now in front of you on this fine Army morning. I'm here to continue the rich history of officers assuming command of land forces in the defense of our nation since 1775. When you put it in context, that's kind of cool. The military customs and courtesies in which you're participating right now tell a story of loyalty, responsibility, and sacrifice that, when done well, inspire generations of Americans to serve one another, to improve the lives of each other and of the world. But they can only do that when we defend all that is valuable to our nation, our neighbors, our resources, and our opportunities to impact others. That is our nation's charge to us. It is in the context of our rich Army story and our nation's charge that I want to remind you of one thing. What you are doing right now, it's hard and it's rare. That is why people retell our military stories over and over again. Stories of valor, of ingenuity, of dedication, and of becoming more than you ever thought you could be, all because you served something greater than yourself. You served in the U.S. Army. In the wearing and in the support of this uniform, you have the opportunity to shape the history of the world. So, do it well. Do it well in the conduct of your professional military education and your occupation, your leadership responsibilities and your additional duties, your unit tasks, and your deployment preparedness for you and your family members. And do it well in how you treat every single soldier in your Army. But don't stop there. Do it well in how you treat your family members and your neighbors, your coworkers, and your civilian leaders, and especially in how you take care of your body, your soul, and your spirit. Do not let any harmful word or action come from you, because you are our nation's hope to protect against those who are actively plotting to destroy all that is valuable to us. Don't help our enemies. Instead, let's write our Army story together in a way that changes the course of history for good. And let's do it well. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Benes. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the benediction, the playing of the Army song, and the departure of the official party. Chaplain Goodwin will now give the benediction.
I again invite you to pray in your faith tradition as I pray in mine. Lord, we thank you for this morning, for this monumental space in time, to be able to celebrate the leadership that was and the leadership that will be. God, I pray blessings upon both of their lives as they step into their new roles. Lord, would you help them to grow in their leadership, and in the same way for every person in this room, no matter what's on their chest, Lord, that each one of them would grow in their leadership as well. I thank you again for this opportunity to celebrate what has happened for the 338, and I ask also for safety as all go. I pray this in Jesus' name, amen.
Marching on.
gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. A receiving line will be formed at the exit to the drill hall for those who wish to bid farewell to Lieutenant Colonel Baldwin and his family, and to welcome Lieutenant Colonel Benes. A reception will follow for Lieutenant Colonel Benes. Thank you for attending.